Hey, hello out there. How is everybody? What? Rolling Stone says sorry, I'll shut up? No, don't do that. Don't ever shut up. No, no. That's not what we're here for. Seriously, there's a whole chat that happened before I got here. This is pretty cool. So I'm going to catch up. Rolling Stone was our first attendee. I'm so glad you're here, Rolling Stone. I've been thinking about you. I missed you. Oh, you're calling out you're trying to do the Beetlejuice thing for Lord Kiss Freak. Lord Kiss Freak, Lord Kiss Freak. That's supposed to be how it works. If you say his name 3 times, he's supposed to appear. He hasn't been here the last few days, so I don't know. I think he's got stuff going on, like work stuff or something like that. So we'll see. We'll see if he wanders in at some point. Hey, sweet Liberty. Sandy Wandy. Hey, Sandy Wandy. How's it going? No one's singing with you. What? That's not fun. But what were we singing? Did I miss it? Oh, the chant. I gotcha. I gotcha. I gotcha. Oh no, wait, I missed something. Pink Floyd. We're singing Pink Floyd. Which Pink Floyd song are we singing? There's a lot to choose from. There's The Wall. There's Dark Side of the Moon. I actually heard the album The Wall first. I don't know which was made first, but I heard The Wall first at my friend's house. Oh, okay. Okay. That is a good song for sure. I agree. I agree. Wholeheartedly. What? There's no way you would have scared anyone away with songs. No, we love songs around here. I do karaoke on this channel. So probably the people showing up are not scared away by a song. Just just a wild guess. Hey, Anthony J all day. The answer to your question is sometimes. Sometimes I do. And sometimes I don't feel like it. So I come here. That's the answer to your question. But the answer is yes, I do sleep. I do sleep. Oh, and everyone's saying hi again. Hi, Sandy Wandy. Hi, Sweet Liberty. That's awesome. Aw, thanks for clicking me a like, Anthony J all day. I appreciate that. Have a great evening to you too. Hey, that was just the most recent comment. So actually, if you're still here, you might not see this, but I have a fish skull you need to see. I don't know what kind of fish this is. I'm sorry if I shocked anyone who wasn't expecting to see a fish skull, but Anthony J all day, this is from a fish that my grandfather caught many, many, many years ago, and he kept it in his closet for many, many years. And when he passed away, my grandmother was cleaning out his closet, and I said, "What is that? That's so cool." And she said, "Oh, that he wouldn't throw that away. Do you want it?" And I said, "Yeah, I want it." So it's been sitting on a shelf in my garage for years, and I don't have handy a picture of the fish when he was enscaled, but I thought maybe you're a resident fisherman, so I thought maybe you might know better than I do what it might be. Actually, I'm going to throw up your link there if I can get to it quick enough because I like to support all of our people. Hey, Danielle, good to see you. Thanks for coming to hang out. The famous fish skull. Is it famous now? Did I name him? I can't remember if I named him or not. If I didn't name him, I think I need to. Hey, Seventh. Thanks for coming to hang out with us. It always makes me happy. Nice fish skull. They say crazy skips a generation. I don't know if it did. Like, I don't know if it did. I think crazy hit every generation in my case. I think we all just got a slightly different version of it. But don't tell my dad I said that. Actually, he'd probably take it in stride. He's got a good sense of humor. Maybe a bowfin. Hard to say. Well, you know what? I will see if I can rustle up the picture of him actually holding it when it had scales. And if I can, then I'll ask you from that because that's probably a better way to show, better way to see it. So I'm sure there's an easier way to share links on here, you guys, but usually I have my phone over here and I go into the live there. I have StreamYard over here, but like I feel faster at sharing links when I'm in the YouTube interface. So I don't know. There's probably an easier way to do it. I just haven't figured it out yet. I will eventually, perhaps. Or y'all will just be really patient with me forever, or as long as you choose to hang out for. Anthony J all day. Let's go fishing. Laughing is key. Have fun. Yeah. Anthony J all day does a lot of cool like fishing shorts and stuff like that. And it's just like a really cool chill channel. He does lives like this where the people can chat and kind of connect and hang out and stuff like that. So it's a fun channel to go check out. So I am going to put his link here in the chat. That's my sound effect for the evening. There we go. Yeah. Go check out Anthony J all day for the fish when they still have the scales on them. Ah, seventh is bilingual. ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal? Nada de particular. ¿Y tú? Oh wait, no. Are we in the two? Like, can I use two? That's informal. I don't know. Do you prefer I use the formal usted? I don't wanna be presumptuous here. I don't wanna be presumptuous. So the fish is famous, but we don't think I named him. Huh. He kind of needs a name, I think. I can't get rid of him now. So y'all give me some name ideas. I think maybe something really simple, maybe Bob, something like that. The picture on the thumbnail is my dog. That was a picture I snapped of him when I was in the living room doing yoga, and he was like over nearby, and he was like, I called that doing his yoga. That was his downward facing dog, so to speak. He was napping. See, not for you either, Rolling Stone. It didn't skip the generation. We got different types of crazy. Like we got, I don't know, we got like your garden variety neurotic. We got like, well, I don't want to give anybody particulars information away. They haven't given me permission to share it, but suffice it to say, we have some interesting stuff in my family. Once I get their permission, if I do, then I'll share more specifics there. But there's a reason people go to school to study psychology, right? We're a little weird. But you think genius definitely skipped a generation. Thoughts? That's a really good question. What do y'all think? Um, so I have a brother, and I won't tell you which one. I'll protect his privacy that way because I've got two brothers. I won't tell you which one. But I've got one that, like, IQ standards is a bona fide genius. Like, just like by the classification of what IQ means for a genius, he is. Um, and he is a really, really smart guy. But my parents are also pretty smart people. Like they have pretty high IQs too. I don't know how high those there are. I don't know if they would qualify in that range. My grandmother was a really, really smart woman. She read everything. She was an avid reader. Like we watched the movie Catch Me If You Can, and I told her, "Oh, grandma, there's a book. There's a book of the movie. The book is really good too, and you can borrow it if you want." And she said, "Oh yeah, that sounds great." And I thought maybe she'd like take a few days to read it. The next morning, she comes in. She's like, "Oh, I read that book. It was great. Thanks, Kristen." I think it took her like a few hours. I mean, it wasn't like super, super thick, heavy reading, but it was a substantial book. So, but the book that came before that movie is really cool. Um, my grandpa on my mom's side was like very mechanically intelligent. Like he could take things apart and put them together again very easily. Um, so I mean, I think there's different kinds of intelligence and different kinds of genius, right? Oh, we've got a question for Rolling Stone. Not that I'm aware of. You'd have to do one of those I guess what do you call it? DNA thingies, I guess to find out. Oh, I could name him after my grandpa's name or a name that he liked. I like that. Or maybe I could give it his middle name. Herman. His middle name was Herman. Does he look like a Herman to you guys? I probably lost some viewers because of the creepiness of the fish skull. That's okay. I'm I'm sorry, guys. You inherit intelligence from your mom. Huh. I was not aware of that, or if I had read it before, I had forgotten it. So that's really interesting. I didn't know that. Do you like it, Sweet Liberty? Herman. He looks like a Herman. All right. All right. Maybe I will name him Herman, and I'll try to find out what kind of fish he is. So genius. Genius is like I don't know, it's kind of a loaded term, right? Like there's one definition that's just like, oh, if you've got an IQ up above about 130, you're a genius. But like anything, there's stuff you can be like really, really good at in life, and then other stuff that's kind of hard for you. Like I've met people with really, really incredibly high IQs who really, really struggle with like social situations. Um, or they really, really struggle to like regulate their emotions. Like they're really, really like book smart and problem solving smart, and they can like solve like equations and things like that. But not necessarily they don't necessarily social skills part of it. So I guess there's kind of like maybe there's a trade-off sometimes. I think everybody has strengths and weaknesses though. Oh, I got an exciting message. That's always fun. Yay! So guys, Mon is kind enough to share me photos from the future because she's in Australia. So for me, that is like 16 hours ahead. So when I see what it looks like, what the sky looks like where she is, I always think of it as like, oh, it's the future. She's sending me pictures from the future. It's like having a time machine, is kind of how I think of it. So this is what it looks like in the future. Oh, I got to turn down the brightness so you won't be able to see. So it's become a little bit of a tradition. Mom sends me a picture from the future to share on here. Look at that beautiful blue sky. Oh, and the sun. I just want to like lay out on a patio in that sunshine. That looks beautiful. That looks beautiful. I love it. Thank you for sharing, Mon. I'm not sure if I saw you on here, but thank you for you messaged me, so maybe if I don't see you in the chat, then you'll see it at some point. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Miss Dragon. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming to hang out. How are you guys holding up? I know your person recently has been going through stuff, and so you've been helping and taking care of your person. So I hope that they're healing up well, and that you're doing well, and that you have some support too, because sometimes it's hard to be the caregiver and then be in charge of everything. Rolling Stone says, I would need more proof than I currently live with. I must have missed something. Oh, about the Sicilian ancestry. Yeah, I think when we did my 23andMe, I was mostly French and German. I mean, if you're not shocked, I'm super pale. Whatever heritage burns in the sun really easily, that is what I am. Yes, she is in Perth, I believe. And she said that on here before, so I don't think she'd mind me saying that. Hey, there's Mon. I just showed your future photo, Mon. Do you wanna see it I would ask if you wanna see it again, but you have it. It's so cool for me because, like, right he it's dark outside and, like, everyone's going to sleep, and it's just cool for me to think, like, in another part of the world, it's sunny and, like, everyone's doing their thing and, like, I don't know, maybe hitting that mid-afternoon slump already, you know? I think it's really cool. Oh, wow. Rolling Stone says when I was 10, the army pulled me out of class and spent a week measuring my IQ. I was apparently pegged for some sort of intelligence program. Thank God for drugs. I might be in the Space Force now. The Space Force. You know what? What surprises me is that it took them a week to measure your IQ. Um, I don't know if I've told you guys this before, but part part of my grad school was a whole year of assessment training, like psychological assessment training, like not just the part where you sit down and interview a person, but like where you learn how to give IQ tests and you learn how to give like other tests and stuff like that. And there's several different like major IQ tests, and the full versions of all of them take a couple of hours. Most of them have, like, a component that's about verbal and a component that's about, like, spatial reasoning and a component that's about, like, number sense and memory and all kinds of that. But a week, they kept you out of class for a week. That's different. Like a typical, like if I were going to do, and I worked for a psychologist for a little bit. um Basically, I did the testing and I scored them and I wrote it up and gave him the report, and then he decided whether he made sure he agreed with it and then signed off on it and then gave the results to the person getting the assessment. Um, but like a full scale assessment, like we would do like an IQ test that would take a few hours, maybe. Then we do what's called an achievement test, which is basically to kind of gain some sort of sense of how much a person's learned in school. So, like the idea being IQ is supposedly your ability, and then achievement is like what you've gathered. And the idea is that they should kind of match, like, and if they don't, then maybe that says like, oh, maybe there's like a learning disability or something somewhere like that. But that's not the be all and end all of it. And then depending what you're looking at, you might do other things too. Like if you're trying to like suss out whether somebody has high symptoms of anxiety or depression, you might do certain things about that. You're always going to do you know, an interview too, but it usually doesn't take a full week. So if you remember what they did, like that's interesting. Um, I've never heard it take that long unless, I mean, but I know that that is around the age when they do like assessment for gifted and talented programs and things like that. Oh, Miss Dragon, I'm tired. He's healing. I mowed the lawn. I got my 1.5 oh gosh, I got my 1.5 pounds of First Love's ashes tomorrow. And referral for my head MRI is in. Wow, Miss, you've got all the things going on. You have all the things going on. I'm behind in the chat, but I'm gonna say ones for Miss Dragon. I think everybody here knows what ones are. Ones are for support, just to express your love and support for a person. Oh, wow. 1.5 pounds. I don't know why, but that does that strike you like it strikes me? Like 1.5 pounds for some reason. That's really heavy. I'm sorry, Mist. I mean, I am and I am not. Like, I'm sorry if it's causing you pain, but I also like grief is kind of like proof that we love someone, right? It's is you just keep loving a person even though they're gone, right? That's kind of what grief is. So I'm sorry if it causes you pain, but not sorry that you got to love somebody like that. And you got a referral for your head MRI. So you have the MRI like results in hand, or like you got the referral to go get it done. Sometimes our referral is half the battle, getting it set up. Much love, Miss Dragon. Okay, so Rolling Stone says I spent a couple of hours of school each day with someone giving me all kinds of tests. This was in the 70s. Oh, okay. So it sounds like they didn't do it all at once. Like they pull you out for a couple hours to give you a test or part of a test. And that kind of makes sense. Like if you're 10 years old, like even if you're like super brilliant, like Doogie Howser level, whatever, like you're still gonna have, you're still not gonna be able to sit for more than a couple hours at a time. Like that's not very kind to ask a young kid to sit in your office for like 4 or 5 hours. I don't think you missed anyone, Mon, but just if we did, and I don't think if I missed anyone, I'm sorry too, but we love you all. And, so it never is an intention to overlook anybody. I want everyone to feel seen always. I think the test may have involved measuring other mental abilities as well. I'm not certain. I'll need my tin hat to really get into it. Oh man. If you still had any of those like results, like I could tell you what they all were probably. I mean, not in like a professional capacity, obviously. Like I'm not your therapist or anything, but I'd probably recognize some of it. Well, I don't know. I might or might not. If the instrument is the assessment tools are older, I might not recognize them. I take that back. Delete, delete, delete. But because I used to write them, I like reading psychological reports. and I can kind of look at like, oh, this makes sense, oh, this doesn't make sense. And um, my in-laws did that. Like when my father-in-law had one because he had some memory concerns. Like she brought me the report and was like, "Can you interpret what does this mean? What does this mean here?" So that's my cool little party trick I can do. I have the box for the ashes, Mjolnir necklace for the ashes has been shipped. Good, good. It's good to have a way to like feel like you're keeping them close to you for sure. Hey, Mary, Mary from Blessed to Crochet is here. How's it going? Good to see ya. See? Hey, Mary's here. Hi, Mary. Happy to see. Mary did a cool short today, you guys. She made a cool short with like the two of us in it from like lives that we've done together to the backdrop of the song Sisters from White Christmas, because we have said that, we kind of feel like I feel like you're my sister. Like I didn't meet you before now and I've not met you in person, but I feel like I've always known you and I feel like a sisterly like bond with you. And so we just kind of decided like, and I feel that I feel bonds like that with others of y'all too. And it's really cool and it's really special. So friends can become sisters. But I just thought that was really fun. Really cool short that she made. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, missed. Grief is love that has nowhere to go. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That rings true for sure. For sure. Oh, wow, in the mail. Sweet Liberty says when my mom's ashes came, they came in the mail. So weird to get that package. Wow. Like from I guess from whoever, like the crematorium or whoever. Wow. I guess usually I think of it as people going to pick them up, but yeah, that would be kind of heavy and strange and surreal. Like just like practically the way we do things in our culture. Um, did anyone ever watch the TV series 6 Feet Under on HBO? The premise was it was a family that owned and operated a funeral home, which is the group that, and I'm sorry if I'm getting too like macabre or like anything like that. That's not my intention. Um, I'm gonna try not to go in that direction, but they did all the preparations for funerals basically from like handling like a deceased person, like a loved one's body to like arranging the flowers and the service and all that kind of stuff. And it followed this family that did that for a living. And there was one episode of that show that really like stuck out to me and I still remember it like many years later after the show has gone off the air, but it was I think one of the main characters had gone to, I think, Greece, I wanna say, but it was another country somewhere, and he observed the way that their rituals around, like, burying their loved ones when they passed, and he said it was so different from here, like, where he was in the United States, where people kinda do this, like, buttoned up thing and this very controlled, like, emotional thing, like, you might see a person shed some tears, but they're mostly, like, sitting there in their nice clothes, and, like, everybody's very, like, there's a decorum, more or less of it depending on the family, but he said in this other country, like, it was like nobody held back their emotion, like, it was very, like, raw, obvious, to the surface, like, women wailing over their lost loved one, like, just like, no holds barred, just, like, express it if you feel it, just, like, let it out, and he said that and this is all fictionalized, of course, but he said that it was refreshing in a way to see people just, like, feeling their feelings, and, like, maybe there's something to be said for that, and not, like feeling like you have to button up your grief, you know? That just really struck me. It always stayed with me from a TV show. I know that's kinda heavy. A locket, that's cool, I like that. Part of him goes around my neck, and part of him will go into a tattoo, part of him will stay with me. I didn't know you could do that. That's neat, though, and the rest goes on hiking trails. I will sprinkle him, so I have someone to talk to. Oh, he's gonna go hiking with you. I love that. I love that mist. I didn't know you could do that with the tattoo ink. That's really interesting. That's really cool. Mary, sorry, did you sneak in from the middle sister? Yeah, Mon is the oldest sister, we've decided. Herman the fish head. Yeah, Herman the fish head says, "Hey guys, he's gonna be my mascot." Because my dog, Flash, whenever as soon as I start doing this, he conks out. But he's always done that. Like as long as I've had him, I have worked at the computer, not necessarily doing this, but I've always worked at my desk at the computer, and he always posts up like less than a few feet from me on the floor and like conks out. And unless it gets to be around the time of day when he expects a walk, and then he's like, "Mom, mom, mom, time to take a break," and he's like nuzzling me and stuff like that. He's working security. That's what he's doing. He's on duty. Hey, Janet G, welcome in. I didn't see you there. Anybody I missed, I do apologize. Miss Sunrise Dawn. I love seeing how people like you'll have a few people that show up at the beginning and then people kind of trickle in and trickle out. And then every now and then you've got a couple people that just pop up at the very end. It's always kind of fun to see how that happens. I'm sure the test results exist somewhere in the bowels of military records. They don't throw anything away. You know what? True that. They do not. They do not. My dad's family, my dad was an Air Force brat. My grandfather was in the Air Force. He was a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. Um, they had all kinds of, and they had all kinds of stuff like that. Um, yeah, military is a little different. So like he would tell me about like going to schools on Air Force bases and stuff. Sometimes he would go to schools on Air Force bases and other times he'd be in Catholic schools. And he said he preferred the schools on the Air Force bases because he thought that the nuns were mean. So that's kind of sad. That's your backyard, Mon, in that picture? It's beautiful. Aw, thanks, Mary. I'm not great at being a YouTuber. I forget to ask people to hit the thumbs up and subscribe. And yes, please check out my friends' channels as well. Check out Blessed to Crochet, check out Miss Dragon. Um, let's see, who am I missing? Somebody else. If you have a tiny channel and you have like one video up, please let me know so I can go subscribe and put on my notifications and I can be the first person to see when you finally say, you know what, I'm gonna make a video. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm hoping to get back to my live schedule next week. Yeah, I love your afternoon lives, Mist. Miss Dragon has a Miss Dragon's Menagerie. I really like it. I like the vibe there. It's it's really chill and sometimes we squirrel off in different directions with the topic, but it's a really cool vibe. I like it a lot. Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. I loved that show. It sometimes. I really appreciate it. It kinda I don't know, like, people have different opinions about how it ended, but I thought it was generally overall a well done show. What? I'm not sure what this is, but Miss Sunrise Dawn says, "When I worked for FedEx, my job was to trace missing Kaj." What is Kaj? Is that something I should know? Is that a name for something? Is that a slang term? Am I just thick? I don't know. I could Google it, but I'll wait and give y'all a chance to tell me what it is, to educate me. My brother brought me my mom's birth ashes, all of them, so she helps me fold fabric. All 10 pounds she liked to sew, so she still helps me. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I like that. That is very meaningful. Mary says, "My grandmother was in her 90s and my uncle passed away, which was her son. She couldn't do a funeral or a memorial service." Wow. Like, she just couldn't tolerate it. Yeah. His ashes got buried with her. I can understand. I can understand having a hard time coping with something like that. My gosh, because that's your child. Like, that's not the way it's supposed to happen, right? Our children are supposed to outlive us. We're supposed to leave them behind. Like, I can't, like, oof. And I have a 5-year-old and, like, oof, no, I can't even imagine. I can't imagine pain much, much greater than that. Um, that's tough. Uh-oh, what have I done, Mon? Kristen, what? You forgot the oldest. You two, you both in the naughty corner. Which so I just recently moved into this room. Which corner is the naughty corner? Is it that one? Oh, hey, thanks, Sandy Wandy. Please subscribe. Laura Lynn is targeting 80. She is at 75 now. The channel covers toxicity at work. Steerus. I'm subscribed to Steerus. Let me go grab that link real quick. I had my notifications on for Steerus today, but I think it overlapped with I can't remember. Like it overlapped with the boat or I was putting my kid to bed or both, you know? So I think maybe I might have missed due to that, but I have it on my watch later list. Do, 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 do. This is my music for when I'm doing something but not looking at the chat. Was anybody here the other day when I had to get up and leave the computer desk to go check on my son? That was a thing that happened. But Miss Sunrise Dawn was on, so that kinda helped. She could say, "Talk amongst yourselves, everybody. Talk amongst yourselves." Thanks. Yeah, she talks toxicity at work is a really good topic. I should probably watch more of those. I probably should have been watching those, like, years ago, and then I would be, like, finding a job I like better, like, have done that way before now. Sweet Liberty says, "Flash?" All I can think of is Flash from Zootopia, who works at the DMV. Love it. So, my dog could never work at the DMV because he's too fast. Like, I'll just he's too fast, and he would never sit behind a desk except to be sleeping while I'm in here. So, if you guys never see him, it's because he's always on the floor sleeping. He doesn't except for I can't remember whether it was last night or the night before, there was a fly in here, and he hopped up in the air behind me to try to catch it like a kangaroo. Um, so you might have seen him, and he's the thumbnail today, so Miss Sunrise Dawn said, when I worked for FedEx, my job was to help trace missing packages. Oh, that's kind of cool. I remember one case, which thankfully was not mine. Someone had their dad's ashes shipped to them. Oh no, FedEx lost them. No, that's terrible. How do you even apologize for that? Like, that's not even something that you can make up with like money at all. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Rolling Stone. I didn't think about this, but this is genius. Is Herman going to be your trophy for when we have some sort of personal achievement? For instance, if I ever get over myself. Well, Rolling Stone, if it makes you feel better, I don't think I've gotten over myself yet either. Baby steps. Maybe we can get over like a tiny part of ourselves, right? Like I've gotten over my weakness for spicy dill pickle chips. Not my whole self, but I've gotten over this small portion of myself. But I don't know, do you think that would gross too many people out? Like, if he's the trophy for achievements? Herman says congratulations. Like, is that too like, I don't know. He looks kind of macabre, right? Ooh, maybe he looks less macabre if we give him one of these. Maybe then it's a little more festive? No, I don't know. What a weird world, right? Like, this fish was just minding his own business in some pond somewhere, like 30, 40 years ago, and now his skull is in my house. Like, what a weird world. The journey of a fish skull. Ah, small world. You did that for FedEx. I probably talked to you on the phone at some point. Ha! I love that. I love it when this small world stuff happens on these platforms, you guys. Like, I will find out that someone just lives about 20 miles north of me, or I'll find out that like I lived in the same town as someone at the same time, like not a very big town, and I'll be like, I totally was in traffic with that person. I had to have been, like totally crossed paths and just didn't know it. I think that that kind of stuff is so cool and so interesting. Plant Freak, aka Sasha, has put out a couple of shorts. I'll see if I can find her. Cool, cool. That's right. That's right. Plant Freak has put out some shorts. I don't, did anyone share her yet? If they didn't, then I'll add it. 'cause she did. She said, "I finally bit the bullet and did it," and I was so excited for her, and I went straight to them. I love seeing people, like, do the channel thing. Like, it really I don't know, it makes me happy. I get to know you guys better because, like, it's cool and it's one thing. Like, it's great to interact in the chat, but it just adds something, like, when you're sharing, like, your own content and stuff like that. Okay, I'm struggling to find her link, but I think she shared it in the Facebook group, so that's probably where it is. Mary, so do you think I have a coffee problem? Did you send me your pictures of the coffee to my phone? Mary, can I share the pictures of the coffee? I was poking fun at Mary earlier today and said, "So, you said that you don't have an addiction problem, but maybe you found the boat for your coffee problem." 'Cause she has these pounds and pounds of coffee. But I was poking fun. Not meaning disrespect to anyone or anybody, but, she had a lot of coffee. But I can relate. I love coffee. Love, love, love it. Mom says my dad was in the Australian Navy, so part of him was taken by the Padre out to sea, which is nice. We have the latitude, longitude where he is. Oh, wow. That's cool. You have the latitude, you have the coordinates. That's neat. Wow. What do y'all think? Is it important to y'all to have some place to like a physical location to visit for a person? Is that important to you guys? Like, like a grave site, so to speak? Like maybe they're not necessarily buried there, but like a place where a memorial is that important for you guys to have? Some people really like to have a physical location to go visit. So I'll share a weird thing about me as a teenager. I was a weird teenager, right? I mean, I've always been weird. I'm still weird, right? Yeah, it is what it is. But I had a friend, like a really close friend whose father passed away, like when they were teenagers, when we were all in high school together. And it was very unexpected and it was very painful and it was very upsetting for them. And so a big part of our friendship when I was very young was just kind of like supporting them through that and just kind of like being there and just like accepting that they were going to have bad days and be sad sometimes. And that was okay. And I remember, like, that family, like, the kids in that family were some of the closest friends I had, and they were some of the first friends I had that I felt like allowed me to just, like, be me, and, like, I didn't have to, like, put on a filter, and I didn't have to, like, act like I was, I don't know, like, Miss Fancy or whatever. Like, I could just be myself around them, and it made a huge difference in my life, and it made me it was nice to have that safe environment with people who I connected with in that way. And one day and his so backing up, one of the kids in that family, we were driving around one night and he said, "Do you wanna meet my dad?" And I said, "What?" And he had me drive to the cemetery and the gravesite and the location where he was buried, and we just kinda went there and sat and, like, smoked cigarettes for a little while and just kinda talked, and then we're just kinda quiet and said, "Yep, he wanted you to meet my dad." Um It was something different, and later on, as a kid, like, as a teenager with a driver's license, because I would drive out by myself at night sometimes, like, just kinda aimlessly. One day, I decided I just got it in my head, I'm gonna write him a letter, how much I appreciate his children, and how much I appreciate that he had a hand in raising them and making them the people that they were because they had made such a positive impact in my life, and I wrote this deceased man this letter, and I put it in the little they have a little thing for letters you can put in there, and I put it in there, and every now and then, I would just go out there and just, like, kinda sit, and I thought cemeteries were always, um I was a weird kid, I'm sorry, guys. Like, I would just go sit in cemeteries, like, because they were usually empty, they were usually very, green, there were trees, and, um, you could go there and just sit and ponder and nobody thought that was weird. Like, so if somebody did drive by or walk by and you were just sitting there, like, looking pensive, like, nobody would think that was weird and nobody would, like, try to necessarily, like, approach you and, like, break you out of your pondering, and I was a kid who liked to ponder. So, every now and then, I would go out there to just sit and just ponder, you know? I haven't done that in a while, though. getting a little lighter again. Moni, no coffee problem, Mary. Coffee is the best drink on earth. Coffee is delicious. Oh, yay, you found Plant Freaks. Yay. Oh, Sandy Wendy, you got one. Yay. Please subscribe to my new tiny channel. I'm so excited. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna find you and subscribe right now, Sandy Wendy. I'm so thrilled. Yay. It begins. I actually probably already began a long time ago, but I'm excited like it's new. Do, do, do. You've got a oh, there's snow. You have a short with snow in it. Oh, wait, I already am subscribed to you, Sandy Wandy. I'm gonna put all my notifications on. This is awesome. Yay! And I think I am behind in the chat, so I'll check and see if someone else has added the link or not. Hey, Maya, aka Allison Art Supply Hoarderland. Good to see you. Always, always. So happy you're here. Seventh, seeing mist go on hikes is as close to exercise as I get. Some days, me too, you know? Like generally speaking, I like to go on walks. I like to move around, but some days I'm not feeling it, and some days watching mist go on a hike is also my exercise. Hey, Michael's Adventures is here. Michael does cool nature content, you guys. He has a fun channel too. Y'all should check him out. I like watching Emily, the little raccoon who comes and hangs out in her little space, little habit trail. And Michael's Adventures also knows a lot about tinctures and how to make tinctures. Am I remembering that correctly? I might be mixing up with someone else. If I am, please let me know. But we were talking about spicy things and capsaicin tincture, and I remember you started talking about making it, like you had known how to make that, and I thought that was really interesting. Oh wow, Miss says when my adopted mother died last year, my brother did not give her a funeral. Wow. Even though it was paid for her ashes got put into the plot she had purchased. Not sure why he didn't give her a funeral. That's very strange. Maybe it was, I mean, who knows, right? People have all kinds of feelings about it. I mean, what they say is that funerals are for the living, not for the person that passed. And that like one thing that somebody told me was like the best gift you can give like your people or your offspring that you left behind is just to plan it all out in advance for them so they don't have to worry about it, because people who are grieving like really struggle to just like get through the day, much less plan what amounts to a sort of sad kind of party, really. So somebody told me once that the greatest gift you can give that you can leave behind is just plan it all out in advance so they don't have to worry about it and they can just do what you want, you know? And it's more about just that they don't have to make the decisions. Oh man, on my phone, stupid laptop is slow updating. Well, I have a Chromebook. I am still on a baby laptop. I'm probably gonna have to bite the bullet and like buy an actual laptop though, because where I have been working, they supply one, but I'm gonna have to send it back. So, and then I'm gonna have to do like notes and documentation, and they supply the office space and everything, but I'm pretty sure I need my own computer. And the Chromebook is working for what I'm doing these days, but I don't know if it'll continue to suffice. We'll see. Oh, you were here but couldn't see the chat, Miss Sunrise Dawn? Oh no, we were disappeared. Oh no. Thank you again. Thank you for thank you guys for doing the YouTuber things for me because I'm not I struggle to remember those things. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, please hit the like if you're feeling it. If you're not feeling it, hit the dislike. Just have an opinion. That's all that I ask. Have the courage of your convictions. I don't mind being disliked. Just don't be quiet about it. What? We had a good lice on Toxic Tuesday. Oh, live. Live. Okay. Lice? Is everybody okay? Okay, live. There was a good live on Steers' channel. It was Toxic Tuesday. I like that. I'm definitely gonna catch the replay on that. Thank you. Thank you, Sandy Wendy. All right, we've got another vote for Herman being recurring. Oh, Janet G loves Herman too. Mist has a gator's head. Mist, I felt like you would appreciate Herman. I felt like you would. Because you talked about your menagerie of things. Like I felt like Miss Dragon will get it. Miss Dragon will understand why I wanted to keep my granddad's fish head. I won't have to explain. He's not quite Hecklefish, but he's all we got. Herman looks Norwegian, does he? That's right. Maya was the one I was talking we were chatting with about what is it? The really stinky fish. Surströmming? The really, really stinky fish that people eat, and you were verifying that people should never eat it indoors. Um, it's a like a Norway thing, isn't it? Right? I could be wrong. Oh, what are the kitty cats doing, Miss Sunrise Dawn? My oldest cat, Oreo, has decided he wants attention right now, and he's not gonna take no for an answer. You know, I have a friend who has cats that whenever they get impatient, instead of saying right now, she says, right meow. Right meow. I miss having a cat, you guys. I haven't it's not a possibility for me at the moment. My husband has a terrible cat allergy. Like it's an asthmatic reaction. He doesn't just get sneezy and like, itchy eyes and all that, but like his throat actually starts to close up. So it's just not in the cards unless they come out with a really cool cat medication or, for the cat allergy, or we get separate houses and we like live next door and I have a cat and one that I visit and then I come home at the end of the night that's not very economically viable though. Was the rest of Herman dinner? You know what? I can't remember, Sandy Wandy. I was either very small when my granddad caught that fish, or I was not even alive yet. So he was big. He was big enough that my granddad kept his head and took a picture. So I imagine he probably was dinner. Like if he was that big, it might have been that he probably was. Probably. Now you need to preserve Herman so he doesn't break now that he is the mascot. How would I preserve him? He is kind of dry. Like he's very old. Like I'm not sure how I would do that, but I could see where he could crumple very easily. It's so weird. Like you can even see his like little like it's not really fish teeth. It's kind of like because the kind of fish he is didn't have them. It's like this weird like brill stuff. It's kind of cool. I know a couple of y'all caught me moving a spider outside earlier today. I don't know what possessed me to film that, except that I don't know, it seemed fun. Uh, moving the spider outside. Uh, my husband hates spiders. He wants to kill them with fire or burn the house down where they were. He hates spiders. So I am the resident spider removal expert at my home. And I always have been, like in various settings I have been in Girl Scouts, I was like the only girl in my troop that didn't have the heebie-jeebies and just like about any bugs, I would just be like, "Oh, okay, let's get rid of the bugs." My mother-in-law says it's because I'm a naturalist. She says it's because I like critters, and so maybe there's something to that. "I don't like shorts," says Michael's Adventures. Well, currently I'm wearing jeans, so no, I know. I know you probably mean like the shorts on YouTube. Um, I think I don't know, they kinda sometimes they're fun, like, if you just want a quick little, like, funny or something. I like some of them I like the shorts with cats doing cute things and, like, animals and stuff like that, but I like long form content with animals too. Um, I think that they're trying to I don't know, I think YouTube has the shorts to try to tap into something that the TikTok platform has, like, with that, like, frequent, like, "Oh, see this thing, we see this thing." They're probably trying to tap into that same sort of thing. Yeah, we need to see the gator head next time. We gotta see the gator head, and if he has a name, we gotta know his name. And he needs to meet Herman. They can be buddies. Well, actually, if they had met in real life, Gator would probably have eaten Herman, so maybe not. Can I post photos on a YouTube page? Do you mean like here in the chat, Sandy Wandy, or like your own YouTube page? Because if you're doing your own, you can go to your community tab and you can post basically what's kind of like a status update with photos, with you can do a poll, you can do I think you can do other stuff too, but I've only done like photos and like little like text and a poll. You can also reshare things too. So like I've reshared stuff on my community tab before that like from like National Institute of Mental Health and stuff like that. Unless you meant in the chat here, because in the chat here, I don't think you can. Now, like, so if you're just wanting to like share a photo of something with us here, you can always message it to me and I'll, put it up. But there's probably an easier way to do it than how I'm doing it. Coffee talk. Woo. Oh man, are you serious, Michael's Adventures? You can drink a pot of coffee and doze right off? Wow, wowza. Oh, cool, Mom. I love this. I recently joined a women's group to make more friends or activities. A lady welcomed me, works out. She's a cousin. And I looked after her grandma. I never knew from 18 to 20. That is so cool. I love that. I meme farm for my shorts. I like that. I was going to add a word, but I didn't want to offend anyone. Meow. What am I missing? What am I missing? I will say I'm not easily offended. I don't know about others, but I'm not easily offended. If you want, you can send it to me first. What I can't remember. It is a quote. It's not mine, but it resonates with me. Can't remember who said it though, but it's something along the lines of, "If you've got nothing to say, come sit next to me." I don't mind. I don't need you to say nice stuff to me. Oreo's a tuxedo cat, mostly black with white chest and paws. Yeah, we got to see Oreo on screen the other day. Oh, wow. You were 18 to 20 years old when you looked after the grandma that you didn't know they were related. Amazing. Oh, I can share the coffee pictures? Okay, great. So, you guys decide for yourselves. So, Mary sent me a picture of her most recent coffee order. I think these are each 3-pound bags, right, Mary? I think. Oops, hold on. Oh, I gotta go back to the pictures of the coffee. Are those each 3-pound bags? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 12 pounds of coffee, man. That sounds good, actually. I'll take it. I'll take it. Caffeine and I are friends until we're not. Oh, yeah. Mary's doing a giveaway with this kind of coffee. So check out that link if you want to have a chance to get some free coffee. Got a good chunk of Bradley's going at the campsite where we've spent years camping. That's cool. That's good. Sounds like a place that you shared good memories. I used to camp more too, you guys. I used to camp with Girl Scouts. I later did, but like when I was adult, a little older. I haven't in a long time though. I probably should find a way to do it again. Oh, really, Sandy Wandy? My parents were cremated, no memorial by their request. I mean, sometimes if it's their request, that makes it easier than making the decisions. Um, I mean, sometimes it's nice to have something like for I don't know, ceremony is a very like all kinds of like ceremony and ritual in general is a very big part of like the human experience, isn't it? Like we kind of seem to have always like as a species even like not just people in the United States but other countries and all over like we seem to have always felt the need to like mark occasions with some kind of like thing that we do, whether it's a wedding or a funeral or blowing out candles on a cake or like congratulating you with Herman. Like we like ritual. Human beings like ritual. We like something physical to accompany something that happened. Um and maybe there's something to that, like in our brains. Like if it's something just abstract, it's hard to wrap our head around. But if we add like a physical thing to it, Maybe it's easier for us to understand what's happened. That's good to know, Mary. So that's why you have like a truckload of coffee in your house. It's easier to order the bigger bag. It's cheaper to order the bigger bags, and I don't have to order coffee for a while. And I decided I love my coffee, and I'm going to order good coffee. I like that. We were talking about that not too long ago. That we usually like to get good coffee because we don't splurge on a whole lot. So, um, coffee is a good one because we drink a lot of it. If we drink a lot of it, we may as well have it be decent. So goes the logic, anyway. Ooh, good to know. Oh, that's right, and you've got coupons too. I need to try the coffee you recommended, Mary. I haven't gotten around to ordering it yet. Every time we run out of coffee, I forget, and then it's like, "Well, we're right out of coffee, so I need to get some now, like, I can't wait for it to come in the mail because I need it for the morning." Oh, wow. Ooh. This says, "Mary, I have several forms here to make coffee. Percolated, dripped, correct French press arrow." Oh, press the pour over filters with hot water so it can drift into a single coffee cup. Huh. I had no idea. We have a French press, but I like haven't used it in years. Like I'm not sure. I don't know. I guess I like the drip coffee maker because I can just like set it and then go do other things. Question for our coffee lady, Mary. Do they have decaf? It's a good question. Maya says is so weird to me that you can just keep people's ashes at home. Here they have to be buried. Oh, in Norway they have to be? I don't quite understand why, but that's the way it is. Is that like by law? Like you can't keep like an urn or something like that? Because I know a lot of people do that. I didn't know that they had different laws around. I mean, I guess different places do have different laws, but I didn't know that Norway had a law about that. That's different. With my job at FedEx, says Miss Sunrise Dawn, I talk to people all over the country. That's kind of cool sometimes. Like if they're not upset with you, then that can be cool. Once I ended up talking to a lady that lived down the street from my aunt, 500 miles away, and had watched my cousins grow up. Wow. That's small world stuff for sure. Wow. I hope she was kind to you before you guys found out all that stuff. Like, wouldn't it be awful? It was like one of those people that called and was like really, really rude and upset. The lives kind of merged together. Yep. Yep. Ah, they do have decaf. Awesome. Awesome. You too, Rolling Stone? So I'm not if I'm crazy, then I'm the same kinda crazy as you. We're not alone. We are a similar kind of crazy. I've actually it sounds actually, like, just hung out in a few cemeteries in my time as a young adult. It's probably a little strange. Some of them, I don't know anybody buried there. I mean, I'm not a jerk. I'm respectful, but I like to sit and ponder, and they're quiet. They're usually like a really quiet park with more I don't know, it feels like there's more weight to it. Like, it feels like a cemetery was designed to ponder, and I think it was, in a way. Miss Dragon says, 39 years ago, me, some friends, and hubby stole realtor signs and put the cemetery up for sale on Halloween. That's great. That's great. I love that. Another time I ended up talking to my uncle's brother, again, over 500 miles away. He's my uncle by marriage. Wow. Did you just find out how you're related to them in, like, the course of, like, conversation about them, like, talking about a FedEx package? That's wild. That's pretty cool, but wild. I saw a sign the other day on a house for sale that read, "Not haunted." That's a plus, right? It's great if the house is unless that's what you're into, unless you like a haunted house. Maybe then you see the sign and go, "Oh, man, I was gonna go with this price, but I need you to knock off some if you're not gonna include the ghosts," you know? you're not gonna include the ghosts, if I have to get my own, I need to pay less for this house. Rolling Stone says, "We had a little thing we called pumpkin patrol. No one was safe. I'd like to say we did it when we were kids, but it kept up until their 30s." Hey, you gotta be a kid at heart. Like, you gotta enjoy life. But I really love that title, Pumpkin Patrol. Like, that just sounds fun to me. That just sounds cool. Dang, Sandy. I did a 72-mile walk in Spain recently. I'm trying to figure out posting stuff from it to my channel. Well, I would love to see that. Whatever you feel comfortable sharing of it, that's amazing. I think, and I am no YouTube expert, but I think you have a couple of options. If you want, you can use the community tab to post some pictures and like write a little blurb about them. Or if you want, I know what Mary from Blessed to Crochet did. I think when she went on a trip, like she posted a video that was kind of like part slideshow of the place she visited, and like she did a voiceover with it. So that's an option too. Wow, I'm super behind on the chat, y'all. Super duper behind. But it's a good that's the best problem to have. I just caught up to surströmming. Because I scrolling down and go, "Oh Lord, that's what Tommy ate." And, "Oh God, no, never indoor." Nice. Oh, Carol, Needing a Meeting is here. When did you come in? Yay! Sorry I missed you earlier. Good to see you. Glad you are here. I don't know if I watched that one yet. I don't know if I watched the barfing yet. I've heard of it. I think I've seen, like, a clip of part of it. Have to go. Took many breaking guidelines. Well, thanks for coming to hang out with us, Michael's Adventures. Good to see you. Have a good night. Sleep is a beautiful thing, Rolling Stone. Are you going to did I miss something? Are you leaving to go to sleep, Rolling Stone? Oh, no, no, no. You said earlier, Carol, now you know why I missed your show today. I was asleep. Oh, this is an interesting request. Kristen, can you make Herman talk? What would his voice be like? Give me a second. I have to consider him. Hello, I'm Herman. How are you guys? I'm just a fish. I was just swimming in a pond one day, and there was this yummy thing on a hook, and I bit it, and then suddenly I was out of the water, and it was sad, and now I must go. That felt like his voice. That felt like his voice. I'm Herman. You're all really cool people, though. I'm glad I get to be here and talk with you guys, though. This is nice. This is nice. It's nice having friends. Where's the other fish, though? Where's the fish? Who's this lady? That's all I got. Herman is Hecklefish's great grandfather. Nice. Nice. Ice cream induced comas. Oh, man. I mean, if you must induce a coma, there are worse ways to do it than with ice cream, I think. Oh, man, this takes me back, Carol. Fish heads, roly poly fish heads, eat them up, yum. Yes, that's like the heyday of the internet for me, Carol. And then there was Hamster Dance too, right? Dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-do. I wonder if they still exist out there. Do you think they still exist? It was hamsterdance.com and fishheads.com. And it was just a page of these little animated fishes and this little song about fish heads. And it was like the very early days of the internet. I think I must have been like 11 or something because we had internet in the house, but it was like we had one computer in like a sort of family room, and like it had to use the phone line to hook up to the internet. So there was a time in our lives where it was like, "Oh, I tried to call the house, but the kids were on the internet," you know? Oh man, back then. I think at one point my parents got a separate line so that they could get a hold of us when they were out. Beware of the crab cat. Beware of the crab cat. I missed the beginning of that, but I can agree. I can agree with that. If there is something such as a crab cat, we should probably beware of it. It's true. I don't remember, but had you tasted dried fish? Dried fish? No. I've not tasted dried fish. I like tinned fish. Like, I like anchovies. I like oysters. Like, I like stuff like that. I've never tried dried fish before. Like, I imagine that would be kind of like a fishy jerky kind of situation. You know what happens with StreamYard? And I don't know if it's just my Chromebook or what. When I get to a certain level of behind on the chats, it like seizes up and then it won't let me keep scrolling down for a minute. And then it ends up just like bouncing all over the place when I catch up. So please rest assured I am not ignoring your comments if you do not hear a response or something such as that. The earworm. The fish head's earworm. No. Ooh, Arctic char. Is that a type of fish? I have had smoked Arctic char. It was amazing. Also, smoked salmon from British Columbia is great, sort of dried as it's dried out. I like lox. I like lox on bagels with cream cheese and capers. And like the general way that they'll make it is they'll also have onion and tomato. I don't need the onion and tomato. I just like the other stuff. Oh, so good. I don't eat it very often, but it's really tasty. Really? Reindeer? Janet G says, Maya, I've also eaten reindeer, or as we call them in Canada, caribou. Oh, there was a company called Caribou Coffee. I don't know why I never clocked that caribou was another name for reindeer. That's interesting. Yeah, y'all check out Needing a Meeting, Carol Needing a Meeting's channel if y'all haven't already. They go live weekdays at 3:40 p.m. Central Standard Time Zone. I don't know what that is in other time zones because I can't do that in my head, but um that's a really really cool channel where like it's like a meeting, but people talk about bring the topics. What do they need to talk about? What do they need to vent about or get some peer support about? I think it's actually one of the first like kind of lifeboat ripple channels I went to. Um like, I had found the lifeboat, and I was watching that regularly, like, participating in the chat regularly, but then I found needing a meeting, and instead of, like, having, like, 50, 60, 100 people in the chat, I usually had, like, around 10, like, kinda like what we have here, and you could kinda it gave you a space you could kinda get to know people a little bit better, just because it's not moving so fast, and it really, like, did a big it had a really good positive effect on me, it helped me get connected and hooked in with people in a really cool way. Okay, you wanted to post a photo to your own page. Okay, so in your YouTube. Yeah, there's a couple ways to do it. I posted a few when I was moving offices in here. Oh, I didn't see Oreo. I just saw Oreo's look-alike. Huh. All right, sweet Liberty. You take care. If it's nighttime and sleep time where you are, then sleep well. When you've lived off grid for any length of time, camping really loses its romance. I don't even want to blame. I don't blame you, Rolling Stone. It's a different thing. Like camping when you are doing it on purpose for funds and all that kind of thing. It's totally different than like when your circumstance kind of throws you into it. That's totally different. I don't begrudge you that. If you're not a camping fan, I do not. Oh, crap, Mary, those were 5-pound bags in that picture? Okay, y'all, I gotta put this up again. So apparently all these bags of coffee, apparently that's 5 pounds of coffee each. So you're looking at 20 pounds of coffee right there. That's a lot of coffee. That's a lot of coffee. All right, Rolling Stone is looking into the caribou reindeer question for us. Some species, but caribou are larger and wilder and were never domesticated, whereas Rudolph was domesticated 2,000 years ago. Reading is fun. I should really get out more. Yeah, I know what you mean there. I probably don't get out as much as I should either. Um, I think it's a cool trip when I go to the grocery store. Like, I was typing about that in the lifeboat chat today, like, "Guys, going to the grocery store with me." Like, it was legit exciting because I got to go somewhere, like, by myself. Okay. So you don't wanna go off the grid again. I was years ago, but never again unless the whole thing goes down. Gotcha. They roasted their own bean, Janet G? My parents were such coffee nuts that in the 70s and 80s, they roasted their own beans. Our whole house smelled like burning hay. Roasting coffee does not smell like coffee as we know it. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I wouldn't have known that it smelled differently like that. Okay, there is a law in Norway that urns have to be buried in a churchyard. We can ask for permission to spread the ashes out in nature, but it has to be up in the mountains, far from living areas. Wow. I wonder what the logic is there. Maybe it's like logic about like just being, I don't know, like safety or public health. I don't know. The small world. In the case of my uncle's brother, they have an unusual name. That and living in the same small town, I knew they had to be related. Definitely small world when you're taking calls for FedEx and you hear the voice of someone that you used to like take care of their grandma. Hmm. Oh wow, really, Janet G? My parents finally got smart and made us kids roast the coffee beans. Their favorite was Sumatra modeling. Let me know if that's correct. The island of Sumatra grows two kinds of beans, Mondeling and Ancola. My parents. They like that complicated coffee. I'll tell you that so I don't buy it anymore because the price has gotten too out of control. It's just like exorbitant. But my favorite coffee in the entire world was Kona coffee from Greenwell Farms, which is a specific coffee farm in Kona in Hawaii. It was the tastiest, like smoothest coffee I ever had. I only ever drank it black because the coffee was too good to adulterate or ruin with creamer. And usually I like really sweet creamer a lot of the time. So it was good coffee, but I don't buy it anymore because it's like 40 bucks a pound and I just can't justify that. Really? Okay, okay. Was it that fun? All right. You know what? That's a nice request. We can do that. Where did I know I missed something about the fishes catching up. Be prepared to get a short tomorrow for you to upload. Oh wow. I got super behind you guys. Gotcha, missed. I want my channel to grow, but not fast. I want to get to know my peoples instead of them just being someone who watches. Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I like being able to interact with you guys individually. Like, yeah, I don't know how I would handle it if something grew up super fast. Like that would, I don't know. I don't know. I hear you. Yeah, for sure. For sure, missed. That's what this world needs is connection and compassion. And when you have too many people too fast, you lose that. Yeah, I think there's something to that. Like people in huge groups kind of start to get that like mob mentality. And it's really easy. Like if you're stuck in traffic every day and you're just looking at like literally hundreds of cars going by, getting in your way, it's very easy to forget that each of those cars carries a living, breathing human being with a life and things they love and things they hate and things they had for breakfast and a job they work that maybe like there's a whole life story in every single car that you're stuck in traffic with. So I think you make a good point, Mist, that when we're just like grouped together in these big, like, I don't know, like anthill, beehive kind of things of humanity, it's just so easy to forget that about each other. And that's a bummer, because I think when we forget that is when we get mean to each other. Like, I don't think people would cut each other off in traffic as much if they thought about, like, oh, that person has a 2-year-old nephew that they're going to see for their birthday this weekend, like people treat each other better when they see each other and recognize each other, I think. Caribou sausage. Rolling Stone was terrified. Rolling Stone ate caribou sausage, but don't want it to be reindeer sausage, which is kinda silly. No, I get that. There's a song about reindeer. Like, we have an attachment to our reindeer around here. I get it. I get it. That's okay. No shade there. Like, that's not silly. Yes, that's what I like about yeah, you can have a conversation in these smaller channels. Like, you can make comments and ask questions, and you can do a little bit of back and forth with other people in the chat in bigger channels, but once it gets past, like, I don't know, there's a certain point at which it's, like, difficult to, like, get to know the people you're in chat with because it's just moving so fast. And it's like, it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Like, if a channel gets bigger and it gets more popular, then it's gonna be harder to, like, keep up with the chat is but I think it works as long as there's still spaces that people can get that though, you know? That's kinda why I keep doing this is because, at first I was just talking to myself and just doing it to see if I could do it, but now it's like, "Oh, there's, like, certain people that come hang out pretty often, and, I'd like us, to have space," you know? Sometimes you just need a little bit more space. That's all. Sandy Wendy says, I used to love the reindeer farm in Palmer, Alaska. Is that the abbreviation for Alaska? The reindeer were very tame and follow you around like puppies, sniffing your pockets looking for treats. Oh, that's really cute. Those reindeer sound like big puppies. I love that. Oh, did I know I probably skipped a lot, but now I'm at the bottom of the chat. Yes, Sandy. Last summer, I opened my front door and hit a huge reindeer in the butt with the door. Both of us almost had a heart attack. Did you get that on film? That would be great if you did. That would be fantastic. If you got that on film, I would love to see that. Or you should put it on your channel? So before I start to wind down, I know I labeled this wind down, like winding down, like I should be here for about an hour and then be going to bed kind of a thing. But you know what always happens is when y'all get to chatting with me, I'm like, oh, I want to keep hanging out. This is fun. But we all got to sleep sometimes, or at least make an effort to sleep, right? Like, even if you don't end up getting the sleep, at least make an effort. But before I go, is there anything that anyone is wanting to talk about that they feel like they haven't been able to, that they would like to? Because I'd always I like to joke around and just talk without whatever you guys want to talk about, but I also always want this to be a safe place. I always want people to feel that they're not going to be like judged or messed with or anything like that. And I keep the topic vague on purpose because I want people to be able to talk about what they want to talk about. Like, there's stuff that I can riff on for days and days just because, like, I've read a lot about it, but people don't necessarily need that? Sometimes people like to ask for bits and pieces about that, but that's not what you need with a live chat, I don't think. It's more of like, I'm just inviting you guys to come hang out at my house, and y'all are hanging out talking, and, like, I'm doing some talking, but y'all are just hanging out. We're just hanging out. Ooh, Janet G says, "I have a pair of Sami reindeer boots made in Arctic Norway. Maya, you know the kind I'm talking about. They're meant to be worn on snow. My sister bought them from Norway for me." That's really cool. It's really cool. Oh, I love you all. I admire that some of your handles show a fine disregard for character limits. You know who you are. Do not go gently into that good night of short YouTube handles. Dang it. You keep your complexity. I love that. Don't let them reduce you. Aw, we miss your lives too, Miss Dragon. That's another reason I miss lives. Y'all make me feel better when I have a headache, and I just don't wanna do that day. We miss you on lives too, Miss Dragon. It'll be cool to see you back. It'll be very, very it'll make my day complete a little bit more. No. Really? They eat the kangaroo? The crocodile one doesn't surprise me. The emu one doesn't really surprise me either. But for some reason, the kangaroo one shocks me. They eat kangaroo? How do you even catch and kill a kangaroo? Aren't they like vicious? Like, aren't they really big and like vicious? How do you even do that? I don't know. Kenji's not amused. Kenji's not amused at all. Mon, no. That's how Janet G feels about this. Eating kangaroo, crocodile, and emu. You know, my grandparents had some property out in the country, and people would just dump their animals there every once in a while. It's really sad. It's really awful. They would just decide they didn't want an animal out there, and they just dump it out in the country. Um, but those animals are raised in captivity. They're not going to make it. Which I guess you could argue about what I did with the spider today, you guys. I did just put the spider outside, and he probably is used to being inside, but, he wasn't paying rent. He wasn't a great roommate. He never did the dishes. Spider had to go. He had to be evicted. It's just what had to happen. Yes, Janet, when I was a kid, says Maya, I loved sliding around on them. My mom was mad because they got worn out and lost their hair underneath. Oh, the special boots, I think. Missed. I need to do live next week. I have laundry piling up on the couch. If y'all haven't been to Miss Dragon's channel, like sometimes she'll do live and chat with us while she's folding the laundry. I'm not good at multitasking, like while I'm on here. Like I thought about I don't know, like if I would probably fold everything upside down and inside out. Like the closest I get to multitasking is I'm like usually like fidgeting with someone off screen or like tapping my foot or like spinning around in circles, stuff like that. I hear you, Mary. I want to grow my channel, but I want meaningful connections. I just want to get past the minimum watch hour so I don't have to repeat those again. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. You're due for another day for me to put your stuff on a playlist and just run it all day, I think. Will it let me do it twice? Well, I know it'll let me do it twice, but I want you to get the credit for it. So, gonna happen. Oh, well, this makes sense because of those scales, the skin. Our crocodiles are used for some famous brands of handbags. Yeah, I believe that. I used to work in an outlet mall in Allen, Texas. I don't live there anymore, so I don't feel weird throwing the name of the city out there because I don't live there now. But I used to work at an outlet mall out there, and one of the stores they had was like for some of the fancy handbag brands. Like there was an outlet store for Coach. There was like they kind of catered to like here you can get your like high end brand name clothing stuff for less money. Like that's kind of what that outlet mall, what their shtick was. I worked in it's a long name, a Legs Hanes Bally Playtex store, which are like a family of brands all owned by the same company that make like underwear. Like it makes women's underwear, it makes men's underwear, it makes bras, it makes socks, like t-shirts, stuff like that. It's owned by Hanes. So I worked for that outlet store. But the store I worked in did primarily women's clothing. At one point, I was trained to be a certified bra fitter, so I could measure people and get, a starting point for what bra size they should be wearing, and then I would like help them find something that like fit them. And I did that for I don't know, about 2 years? I think so. And it was one of the most interesting jobs I ever had. Not because I saw different boobs all day long, like, I mean, yeah, that's interesting in itself, but it gets old after a while, but because different people like, women hate shopping for bras. They hate it with a fiery passion of 1,000 suns. Women hate it either because they've never found anything that's comfortable or they don't feel comfortable in their body or there's just like a million reasons. And the most rewarding thing about that job ever was like getting to like be with somebody who just felt crappy about having to do this and like make it a good experience for them and like make them feel more at ease. Like that was the coolest thing about that job. And I think I made like, I don't know, $8 an hour working that job, but it was great. It was great. I wouldn't trade it. Wouldn't do it differently. Oh my goodness. There's a restaurant in Corvallis that serves kangaroo meat pie. I will try almost any food once. Like, I will say that. I do feel a little weird about the kangaroo. I don't know why. Maybe because I never knew that people ate it. I would still try it once, but I would feel a little weird. I would feel a little weird, I'm not gonna lie. It is kinda sad. It is kinda sad. Rolling Stone says, "Yeah, I don't wanna eat a kangaroo." Look, I even capitalized it. You can't eat a kangaroo. It's a proper noun. We cannot eat kangaroo. Oh, too sad to eat kangaroo pie. I couldn't bring myself. So I guess for some reason, like, we in the States people have romanticized kangaroos. Like, perhaps we think they're something that they're not. I don't know, maybe they're not as, sweet and I don't know. I think because we know cartoon kangaroos, like, we know, like, Roo from Winnie the Pooh, so maybe that's part of it. Oh, okay, I see. 'Cause I was worried because the kangaroos are mean. Maya reassured me, "Kristen, they have guns in Australia. They don't catch the kangaroos with their hands." Good, I was relieved. I'm relieved. I was really worried about those kangaroo hunters. Wait, does that mean that there's a whole job called kangaroo hunter? Like, or did the people have to hunt, like, multiple things? Like, or are they raised, like, on farms? Are there kangaroo farms or ranches? My whole, like, world is being turned upside down, I'm not gonna lie to you. I had intended to be on here for an hour, but when I learned about kangaroo pie and, like, eating kangaroos and I don't know, like, it's too much I'm learning about I didn't know before. Mist says, "I'm guessing kangaroo there is like El Cadera here. Majestic yet plentiful, so we have to control the amount. Elk is delicious." I gotcha. Yeah, yeah. If they're plentiful, then yeah, yeah. You can't let the population get too out of control, I guess. Oh, oh, I'm sorry, Rolling Stone. I didn't mean to make you sad. Yeah, I don't feel so good. One person's Big Mac is someone else's kangaroo burger, I guess. Oh. But we can pretend it doesn't happen, Rolling Stone. It's okay. It's okay. At least here, no kangaroos were harmed in the making of this live that I am aware of, that I have anything to do with. Okay, we have another suggestion. How about a bison burger? Says Janet G. That's a little different. We have votes for elk and moose. I don't think I've ever tried elk. Yeah, yeah, it was they called it a certified bra fitter, because you had to do so it was I mean, it was the company's training, right? Like, they made it up. It's not like some kind of, like, national there's not, like, some national board of bra fitters or anything like that, but they called it that because you had to do a special separate training at work, and you had to, like, take a little test, and then they would say you're certified with Hanes to be a bra fitter. And they even gave me this little, like, pin that was actually a bra. Like, it was a little gold pin of a bra that, like, said, like, "Bra fitter," so, like, people could find you so you knew that they knew that you could help them. And funny story, I once I went to college, I stopped working there because I was going to because I moved to Denton and I wasn't, like, driving back and forth every day, not for a mall job anyways. And then later I graduated, and in between undergrad and grad school, I worked at that mall again, only this time I worked for Jockey, which is another underwear store, but they carry more men's stuff than women's. But they still did the bra fitting, and, like, that was why they hired me. They're like, "Oh, you can do bra fitting? Okay, yeah, yeah, you can work here." So, yeah, that was my, my job for a little bit. Yeah, most don't like bras or getting them off as soon as you get home. Yeah. Yeah, if it's a good one, it shouldn't feel like hell, but, it's really hard to find. And you know what? It ruined me on buying them forever because, like, I learned so specifically how exactly they're supposed to fit perfectly, and so whenever I would go to buy them, I was like, "Oh, this doesn't fit perfectly. I'm not gonna spend the money on it." Um, So double-edged sword there. Oh, no. Cougar. People eat cougar? I mean, I guess if it's an animal, we'll eat it. Humans will, that is. So does the riveting come from the eating of the strange animals, Rolling Stone, or are you riveted by the bra fitting? Let me know what to provide more information about here. Okay, Rolling Stone is making it clear in no uncertain terms. You can't eat a cat. Oh my goodness. Well, this is good to know. Kangaroos are beautiful and magnificent, but can be very aggressive. All right, so we're being responsible. Miss says there's a lot of cougar around here. They come through my town occasionally. We got to balance the population. We can't let the meat go to waste. Okay. Okay. See, we're being responsible here. It's not like someone's eating a house cat. Australia's the other side of the world, so it makes sense that things are upside down there. Fair enough. Oh no, we didn't mean to make you vomit, Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone's never gonna come back, you guys. Oh. Oh, but could eat a buffalo. Okay, okay, we're getting back there. I don't know. Gives a new meaning to here, kitty, kitty, kitty. That's terrible. But wonderful at the same time. I'm relieved that you don't have to go to Bra College. No, the training was not nearly that involved. It was like you had to Bra College. Yeah, yeah, I had to get a 4-year degree and everything. Like, took out student loans, the whole bit. Oh, I love that. I love that. Funny story about bra fitting though, it's just measurements. Like it's just taking measurements around a person's like chest, right? Like you with bras it's just different because women have like different measurements. There's a spot where you're narrower and a spot where you're wider potentially. So it's just like measuring like around the rib cage and that's the band part and then measuring around the fullest part. And then you subtract that and that gets you a cup size. And then that's your bra size, but it's not an exact science either, like, that's just your starting point. Because then it's a little bit different with different brands, it's a little bit different with different styles, people have different bodies, like, it's a whole big thing. But no, I didn't have to go to bra college for it, fortunately. It was just a training they did, like, in-house with an experienced person. It's more of an art than a science, actually, because different things fit different people's body differently. Oh my god. That reminds me, I had the coolest experience actually as a bra fitter. It, um, it was really, really sweet actually. There was this elderly couple. There was this older lady who I think she must have been in like her 80s, y'all. She didn't get around really well at all. Um, her husband brought her to the store because she needed new bras. So like here's this like 80-year-old couple and like she needed help, being measured and finding something that fit. But this little old lady and her husband, like he was the most like supportive and like kind and just like he was like running and he was like going back and forth and like getting different things for her and like getting different sizes for her. And like she couldn't like her arms were such like she was arthritic. She couldn't like put her arms behind her to get the hooks. So he would like help her with the hooks and stuff. And like we found her front clothes ones that would be easier, but it was just like he was just so sweet with her, you guys. It was like if everybody can find somebody like that, they can be old with and loves you for you. And like people can make jokes about looking at boobs all day long, right? But like they look different when we get to be 80 and they're supposed to look different. And like he just loved her and he just wanted to take care of her. And it just, it's a pretty cool experience. It's pretty cool. Sorry, I got serious there. We go back to being silly. Bison are tasty. I've had water buffalo yogurt. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, how do you make yogurt with a water buffalo? That's how is that possible? How is that possible? Maple flavor? Okay, okay. So I clocked it correctly then. Riveted by the bra fitting, nauseated by the Wild Kingdom buffet. We also would sometimes have, like, friends come in and mess with us that knew we worked there. Like, a friend of mine's brother came in to get a bra fitting before, like, but you just measure a chest, and basically he was like a 40A or something. It's silly. It is cami bras are easier, Miss Dragon, sometimes. They are. Huh. Just like cow yogurt, you let the milk age a bit. Oh, so you just get milk from a water buffalo and just let it age like other that's different. That's I never would have thought about that. Mainly because I guess we don't have access to water buffalo where I am. We have a lot of cows, though. Yeah, Mon, that's what I thought. And, like, I think they drove in from, like, the country too to, like, go bra shopping. Like, and, like, I don't know, like, not all men would do that for their wives, you know? So it was very touching. I think everybody should have someone like that. Carol needing me fading fast. Actually, I am too, Carol. I'm probably gonna wrap it up here pretty soon. Good night, everyone. Love the couple story. Yeah, it was something. That's one of the I mean, things like that are one of the reasons I would not trade working in retail for the world. Like, I had some crappy stories working in retail. Like, people kind of you see people act like jerks in retail, but then you also see things like that. You know, you get to see like you work at a place like a mall where everybody goes, you get to see like all different people, you know, like from different walks of life and different places because everybody needs to buy some clothes, you know, everybody needs to buy some underwear now and again. And it just like you get to connect with people actually. Like I didn't make long-term friends that way, but you get to connect with people and see what other human beings are like. And that's valuable, especially for someone who's like 19 or 20 like I was at the time. Oh, wow. Okay. So I think I have other people who popped in too. I'm so behind in the chat. We have other people who popped in. Bank Fishing Adventures is here. Hey. And good night, Carol needing a meeting. Thanks for coming in. Missed. Hubby always offers to be my bra support system. Just hold him. Just hold him up for you. What a kind soul he is. Welcome in, Banking Fishing Adventures. Good to see you. Were you here for the fish head too? We got some more fishing friends. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear he's still in good spirits, Miss Dragon. There has not affected his attitude at all. Yes, please do. If you guys haven't hit one of the thumbs buttons, you can't go wrong with any of the buttons really. Like just, click around, like click one of the buttons, and that would be great. Thank you, Mon. Oh wow. Miss Sunrise Dawn says, when my grandfather got to the point where he couldn't always remember who we were, he never forgot my grandmother. I thought that was sweet. Wow. She was his person, you know? I guess that's how it works. Hey, retired Red. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. I'm here for the end. Hi, y'all. Yeah, you are. You are. Because I tell myself I'm just gonna hang for an hour, but then I always have too much fun with y'all and hang out a lot later. But I do cut it off for Cricket on Chow Yun Smut goes live because I like people to go see my friend. I like to support my friends. This is what we do. Gotta have each other's back. And she puts on a really good show, and I don't wanna miss it either, so in the old days, they called the boobs for goats. What? They called the boobs for goats, so the bra was called a they called boobs goats, like, that's the so the bra was called a goat fence. That's funny, I like that. One of my favorites that I've heard is y'all tell me if you've heard this one, a name for bra, over the shoulder boulder holder. I like that one. Let me think. We also sold pantyhose, which nobody buys anymore, and it was fading fast even back then when I worked there, and this was, like, in, well, like, 2005? Like, when I first started working there, like, half the store was just different types and colors of pantyhose, but then gradually, the longer I was there, that section just kept shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, and, actually, because we sold it, if we weren't wearing slacks, we had to wear pantyhose too. So, like, if I wanted to wear a skirt or something, I had to wear hose with it. So, even though nobody was really doing it anymore, I learned the finer side of wearing hosiery when I worked there. At least if I wanted to wear a skirt. Most of the time, I didn't. Most of the time, I wore slacks, like trouser socks. I love when people come in and they say hi to everybody. It makes me happy. "Oh, you're going to bed, Rolling Stone? Good night, Rolling Stone. You're welcome. I hope we could cheer you up a little bit. Anybody who's having, less than stellar night, I hope we could cheer you up a little bit." Talking about bras and talking fishes. Guys, I was just sitting in my I don't know if that was the voice I did. I can't remember. I'll have to go back and watch. Herman says good night, Rolling Stone. And remember, Herman loves you. Herman says don't give up. Yes, exactly. That is a very important part of working in retail. Make sure your customer cannot see your face before you do an eye roll. I have a silly retail story there too. Sandy Wandy says, "Bye humans, bye Herman." Bye Sandy, have a good night. Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with pantyhose, Janet G. Like, on the one hand, I like the look you get from it, and I actually don't mind wearing it. Like, I don't find it uncomfortable, but without fail, anytime I wear it, it rips somewhere. I get a run in it, I get a rip in it somewhere. Like, it just feels like I just spent money on this clothing item that immediately broke. And that's very irritating to me. So maybe that's just me. But this is a good point. I'd much rather go to the tannery and get my legs a pretty color so I don't have to wear them. Yep. For a while, Sally Hansen made this stuff called leg makeup, and it was like stuff you sprayed your legs with to like look like you had on stockings. Isn't that weird? Might have to get Herman some dentures. Yeah, he might have a hard time eating his dinner. Hey guys, I don't have any teeth. During World War II, yeah, this is a good point. During World War II, nobody could find stockings. My mom said she drew a line up the back of her bare legs so it looked like she was wearing stockings. It was a thing back then. I have heard of this. I think that's great. That's interesting. Yeah, I think I've seen that too. Miss Sunrise Dawn. I mean, what are friends for, you know? Your bra strap breaks, your friend's gotta step in, with the assist. Gotta be a manual over the shoulder boulder holder. So true, Janet G. I've heard that story in Oz as well. Oh, about the stockings and drawing the line up the back of the leg. What was the funny story? Oh, I think it's funny. It was a retail story that started out with, like, a rude person, but ultimately, I think it's funny, um, just because of the juxtaposition of what she said. So we had, like, 2 sets of registers, and there were 2 lines. Like, there were people waiting in line behind this register and people waiting in line behind this register. And this one lady, like, walked up and she didn't get the memo. She didn't realize that's what was happening. So she just waited smack dab in the middle, and someone who had already been waiting at the first one, like, went ahead of her. And she took exception to that because she thought, "Oh, that person's cutting in front of me." So she got really, really upset. And the person working the register was just like, "Oh, I'm sorry. They were here, I'm sorry. Like, I'll be right with you." And this woman just got so bent out of shape. Like, she had this armful of stuff too. Like, she had this armful of, like, bras and pajamas and stuff. And she just, like, put them down on the counter and said, "I'll pray for you, bitch." And then she went storming out of the room. And we were just kind of stunned, like, "Uh, is this good or is this bad?" You seem very upset, but you have told me you will pray for me. So I don't know. So that's one of my silly retail stories. Silly, but yeah, people do all kinds of silly things when they're shopping and they think that people are beholden to them. I'm gonna pop up Chow Yun Smut. See, that's how you know it's time for me to wind down. I'm starting to tongue tie about things. Oh, thanks, Mary. All right, y'all. Chow usually goes on about 1 a.m. Central, my time. So if you are still awake and you just can't sleep yet and you just need to hang out longer, please go see her. She is awesome. We all love her. And if you've not seen her before, go check her out. And thank you guys for helping me name Herman tonight. This was quite epic. Uh, I kind of thought he would gross people out, but it seems the opposite has happened. You guys have, found him endearing. So that's interesting. He hid in a closet for many, many years, and now he's got life again. Thank you guys so much for being here. I feel really, really lucky that you guys show up to hang out with me and to hang out with one another. And it's really cool for me to be able to make a space like this for you guys. Y'all have a great night. Yeah, me too, Miss Sunrise Dawn. My eyelids weigh about 20 pounds apiece. Good night, Joe. Sending love. That's a good one to end it on. Night, everybody. Thanks.